Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Aggressive Beauty Podcast, where beauty is pain and so is the truth. Ain't it?
That is correct.
Truth is really painful, right? Crazy. But we're going to give it to you anyway. Is that right?
Correct again.
Bro, don't do me like that. Because you know I'm with all the shits tonight.
Don't we know it? Before we proceed, I just always want to give my little caveat. I feel like I told the people that I was going to change my background last time, but Amazon fucked me over and gave me bogus backgrounds. And so y'all going to get the silkies, and I'm sticking with it. So
I liked it in the first place.
I know, but I wanted
it was like it was you, bro. Like
it is very much
sexy
me.
look.
But this isn't my podcast. This is my besties podcast. So I was trying to get something, to match your little pink and stuff. I was like, okay, I can get with it. I can't get with it. I'm so sorry.
I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you to be yourself. I appreciate you. I really do. All right, but we're good on the backgrounds. They all right. We rolling with them. Yeah. So this season, have my beautiful co-host, bestie, Tate, Jazz. Yeah, I know her. Quit playing. Anyway, we are going to do the complete season 2 together. It's going to be 10 episodes, and we are going to be covering relations and relationships. Pretty much going over actions and stuff like that each episode. And of course, we're going to relate it to, relationships or relations as well. Last episode, if you guys missed it, you slacking. You really slacking. I need you to go back, hit the link in the Instagram page, Aggressive Beauty _. Need you to hit that link, go ahead and view the last one and go and play catch up. But anyway, so last episode, we pretty much talked about building. And we discussed the question as far as what do we bring to the table. You're not getting the tea on this one, baby. I'm going to go back and still watch it. But that's what we talked about.
Let's teaser friend. Okay.
Yeah, a little some.
Oh, she's gonna give a synopsis, and you're like,
psych. But so on this episode, we're talking about lying. I'm sure everybody has been in a situation, either you told a little lie or you have been the one that's been told the lies. So we want to talk about that just because we want to see where it comes from. Of course, go over, just some personal situations that we've been in. And then we want to kind of know or break down what makes somebody do those things and what kind of lies and just all of that. We're going to break it all the way down for y'all. And so, but yeah, and of course, we're going to be coming from our different perspectives as well. Yes.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm here. So speaking of these perspectives, if you go back and listen to the last episode, we both kind of wanted to make sure it was clear that we acknowledge that a lot of the experiences have come from heterosexual, cisgender like encounters with men or women or whatever the case may be, right? And so in thinking about it, we want to make sure that we acknowledge that our perspectives are limited, our experiences are limited. We're not speaking for, everybody, and acknowledging that a lot of different people have different experiences, not just because of how they identify, but like the people that they also engage with. So for myself, I am a bisexual woman. I have relationships with both cisgender men, queer men, cisgender women. I have a wider range of relationships. So when I am speaking, it's very specific to those encounters, and the people that I engage with and the world that I move within, which is not always a
That's
hetero.
good. I mean, that's good though, because it's like you wouldn't get that perspective from me.
Right.
If I'm only, I've never been with a woman. I've only dealt with males. Like, you know what I mean? So my view is going to be way more limited versus yours. So that's really good that we can just get that kind of like out in the air. That way you kind of understand like there's some similar things going on still. We still have some similarities basically. So we definitely want to make sure that's understood. That was okay, best friend. I see you interviewing us some girl because you the wild girl.
I'm so sick of ass.
Let me stop. But so in that, let's kind of talk about those experiences. Okay. Yeah. So what kind of experience were you in? We want to do one where it's just relations, and then we want to give an experience for like relationships. Okay. So if you want to, whichever one you would like to provide first, and then we can kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Then
the receiving end, not doing it, not, you know what I'm saying? We're going to do.
Right. Which is also, I feel like also is another point to point out is that this is also going to be very different just because I'm also poly. And so those relationship dynamics, as opposed to monogamous relationships, are heavily built on communication and trust and honesty, and in a very, very different way than many of the monogamous relationships that I have either previously been in or, know from friends and other people. So that is the other perspective I'm coming from, where a lot of the lying and the, what we call it, like, two families or two,
we call it
double lives,
living double lives, right?
Yeah, a lot of that pressure isn't in the experiences that I have because of the poly dynamic as well. So wanting to like back up on that as
right.
Well. So when you're talking about relations and relationships and about people who like have lied or just presented themselves to be very different than who they were, I will say are you ready for me to give that experience?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say probably not too long ago, dealing with an individual who, cis heterosexual male, he was very stereotypical in like he was a Black man, 6'5", 200 some pounds, a lawyer, great on paper, wonderful on paper. He identified as a monogamous person, but was like, hey, I'll try to give this a shot with you. Like we can, I don't know a lot about being poly, but let's go for it. Like, give me a book, teach me, all right, nigga, okay. Let's do this. And so, we started talking and I feel now outside looking in, like, oh, you were pretending to do this or whatever to try to have control over the situation or eventually have control. So what eventually happens, long story short, is that he asked to be my primary partner. And this was at a point where we probably should have still just been dating and getting to know each other. You
might want to explain the partner situation.
Oh, yeah. So it would be primary partner, then secondary partners. Not all poly dynamics are built on a hierarchy. Typically how I engage, it is. It's not right, not wrong. It's just everyone moves differently in that way. But he wanted to be a primary partner, meaning that we would build our foundation together. And then after a course of an agreed upon amount of time or whenever it just felt natural, that's when we would open it up to other relationships, which would then be our secondary relationships. Mm-hmm. He wanted to be that person. And so at the time I was just like, sure, let's see. Honestly, I don't know why I said yes.
I was going to say, did you lie?
I knew better. I knew better. Logically, you know, I said yes, and I know I shouldn't have, but I was like, he's leaning in, he's being emotional, he's opening up. You know, we've cried about different, like he was doing a lot of things that he wasn't used to doing, and I was like, okay, like maybe this is, you know, I love, and so I'm all about it. We were not in love. I'm just saying, you know.
Why you have to clarify that quickly?
Because, girl. So, we end up, you know, quote unquote, being together, and he's still like very insecure about how things move, right? And I was like, you know, with you being my partner, like I have to build a foundation with you first. Like I'm not out here seeking other people, but also if that were the case, that would be okay, because, and then we would just talk about it. I was like, but at the moment, that's not what I'm looking for. It's not what I'm doing. But he was just, anytime I would go out with like friends or whatever, he was just like on my ass about what was going on. Mind you, this young man is also a Q dog and is very involved in his fraternity. And they are throwing hella parties and having, you know, engaging with a lot of different people on a lot of different levels. And I don't mind. I'm moving the way that I typically move. It's like, it is what it is. I trust you, go do your thing or whatever. Just hit me up when it's time. And there got to a point where things change. So, you know, I'm quite observant about like people and patterns, right? So we get into a groove, and I know how you move, and I know how you move even when things are busy or when you're at a party or whatever the case may be. And suddenly, you know, the communication starts lacking, and you just kind of switch up, and things don't just switch up for no reason. So again, communication being a pillar in whatever relationship one is in. You know, I try to talk to him about it, and he's very defensive. And I was like, oh, I'm noting all of this. And it gets to a point where he goes out, and we were supposed to meet up. No call, no show. I was like, okay, this isn't normal. So what I'm going to do is go to your home, because we are together. And let's say I'm worried.
Let's say that sounds.
And so I pull up, you have not answered your phone, no calls, no texts or whatever. And I see your bedroom light on. Okay. So I proceed to knock on the door. Let us pause to remind you where we are in this scenario.
My God.
He asked me to be with him. I was not trying to be in a relationship. I was trying to date. He understood and knew that I am a poly individual, and so that having an open relationship is normal. Just make sure, you know, we communicate. The vibe that I got from him was almost that he understood the freedom that he would be able to have, but was very possessive about me and not want me to have that type of freedom. It was more like, you're mine, so you should be untouchable. Nobody should be touching you, but I should be able to move throughout the streets the way that I want to. And so it was a complete, and I confronted him on that before, because I was like, this is what this sounds like. And he's like, no, not at all. But he was like, I don't want anyone touching you right now until like we get into our groove, and I'm not even, you know, looking at anybody else. Right. That is where we are. Right. That is where we are, where I'm being accused when I'm out with my homegirls of, you know, being in somebody's face. And I'm like, I'm not. But if I was. Are you
telling your story or mine? Okay, go ahead though.
Right. And so, yeah, I ended up, you know, knocking on the door. He answers and is immediately defensive about the fact that I am at his place. There is no, like, I'm sorry for not meeting you, for not contacting you, for not answering your phone. And he's not sleepy. Like this, he's
wide awake, Amy.
Right. He's fully dressed in a button down and some slacks and like his shit fully. So I'm like, you've just come from somewhere, or you're about to go somewhere, like something's, you know, going on. So I was like, look, I don't like to deal with uncertainty. That's not how I move or whatever. I was like, that's too much for me. Even hypothetically speaking, if you weren't doing something, the fact that we even have to go back and forth like this is too much for me. So give me my UGG house shoes and give me my sheer flowy, furry robe. That's all I want. Like, give me my stuff and give me my poly book or whatever that you were.
Right. Since you didn't read it, apparently.
Right. Since you're reading and learning or whatever. And so, we're going back and forth, and finally he's like, all right, bet. And so I got my house, he gives me my house shoes and my book, but he tells me he can't find my robe. And I was like, look, I wasn't even gonna say nothing. I was like, but you probably got a bitch upstairs, and that's cool. I want my motherfucking robe though. And if what you're telling me right now is that there's a possibility there's a bitch in my robe, going to square the fuck up. And at that point, because he knew how serious I was, he was like, you threatening me, I'm gonna call the police on you. And I was like, and I'm gonna tell them where all your weed is in the kitchen and like, lawyer, Mr. Lawyer Man. So if you want to play this game, we can play. I'm telling you, I don't want to play. I just want my fucking robe.
Let me just go get this bitch robe because she out here wildly, y'all. Stay right here. Don't go nowhere.
Right. So I opened the door further, and in the living room is a purse. He don't carry a purse. He's not a queer man. And not saying only queer men carry purses, but this is not a nigga who carrying a purse. Okay.
Right.
So it ain't his fucking purse. So I was like, oh, it was a nice purse. If I don't get my robe, I'm gonna snatch this purse and I'm gonna walk the fuck out. Something else is coming with me, is what I'm letting you know. So he was like, I really can't find the robe. He's like, I swear to God. Because at this point, he's given up on trying to deny that there's a bitch up there. And the bitch knows better than to come down at this point. So I was like, listen, all you have to do is cash at me then. Cash at me for the robe. I was like, give me 180 and we're good. So he cash apps me right then and there.
Why are you playing with him?
It was like $80.
No, it wasn't.
It was 80. It wasn't one.
What was this, bro?
It wasn't 180, but I was like, for pain and suffering, you need to give me. He a lawyer. He understands the distress. But for the pain and suffering, I need that.
God, I'm done with you. I'm like 180. That don't even sound attractive. What the 180?
And so he gives me, he cash apps me or whatever. And he was like, we can just talk about this. We just can't do it right now. And I was like, oh, sir, no.
You thought there was something else to talk about.
So, like, in summary, though, like hearing that story basically is like, what would possess somebody to lie in that type of situation, right? Where you have an open relationship, you have somebody who's extremely understanding, has from the jump told you like, this is something we can do. Like, it wouldn't have been nothing for you to engage with another woman.
Would you call that a relationship?
Say that again.
Would you call that just relations, or would you call that a relationship?
It wasn't a serious relationship for me, given like the time frame and how everything went. But it was a relationship. Like, that's the whole point of him being like, I don't want just like, I want to be with you. And like, so yes, it was a relationship. We know what it looks like and how people move when it's just relations or whatever. But in that situation, it was supposed to be a relationship.
Right.
And so in that understanding, the foundation that we were laying and trying to understand, again, the open, honest communication, it's like, damn, you're so afraid or so insecure or whatever it may be, right? Like, we can speculate a million times over. I don't allow people to do that with me or whatever. So it's like, I don't care what your reason is. The fact that it happened is enough for me. And so I'm going to block you. There is no more communication. There is nothing else to engage with because you've disrespected me. There's nowhere else to go from here. Especially again, given the foundation of what was supposed to be honest, open communication, and the fact that you begged to be with me. I did not want to be in a relationship. We were supposed
to
be
you wanted this shit.
Yeah. And so for it to get to that point, that doesn't make sense. So yeah, that's my relationship stupid line ass nigga story.
And it's, see, in your example, it's way more open. There's like no reason. It's even more reason to where like, why?
I mean,
you had everything.
I try not to get in too much of the details, right? Because it's like, if you really want to know why.
I mean, we could initially like break it down throughout.
No. I'll say this. So he grew up in a household where it was just he was with a single mom, but he had access to his dad. His dad always has been a fucking hole, like out in the open. His wife let him just do whatever the fuck he wanted to. They are not in an open relationship or open marriage, and so he was always like, I never want to be like my dad. My dad, is a know nothing ass nigga, blase or whatever. So even more reason for me to be open to being poly or whatever. He was like, because it's in. he's a it's in me, not on me type of thing, whatever, where it's like, I don't want to have to move like that. So we can be open, but also extremely possessive and territorial, right? So again, he very much so likes the idea of being able to have somebody who would be open and okay with him moving how he moved. But that type of trust, he didn't trust it. That type of freedom for the other person, he didn't know that he didn't feel like he was good enough to keep me as a primary, right? So he's like, if you're going to be engaging with other people, that means that I'm lacking in some way. And it's like, well, baby, if that's how you felt, you should have just stayed in a monogamous relationship with somebody else. You should have moved like that with somebody else, but you didn't want to let go of me. And so instead, what you did was lied and pretended like you were going to be open to poly, when what you would have rather done, this is the crazy part to me, you would rather cheat than actually be open, which is mind boggling. Still makes no logical sense to me outside of the fact that you don't want me to engage with other people. And we know that's not how that works.
It's sick is what it is.
Yeah.
It's sick is what it is. I mean, and like you said today, selfish.
Very much so.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that lying shit. What kills me with it is the lengths you go, the shit that you do to lie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, my example is just basically catching some cheating shit. Like, basically, was with somebody for almost a year. And I am very much so a person to where I like to give you your space. Like I'm really, really lovey-dovey and all that, but like I know to give you your space. You know what I mean? I know I like to go riding or some shit like that, listen to my music. Like that's not suspect. Like little stuff like that, like when you need your alone time, like people go through shit, people are thinking of stuff constantly that they might not even tell you. So I'm definitely into, I'm not going to babysit you, basically, and looking back, it's kind of like, dang, is that what I needed to do? All the lying, like that, wow. But basically, just got caught slipping, got caught chopping it up on the phone, in my house, on camera, real cute, like kiki. And what makes it's funny that you mentioned just somebody being very possessive and trying to have control over everything. What trips me out is the fact that somebody will try to control everything that you do, and they're being controlling of those things because they're doing them. You know what I mean? Like they don't want you to do this because they're that nigga that's out there doing that. They don't want you to give into that because they the nigga at the gas station doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like little shit like that. It's crazy. But basically at the end of the day, what I got was motherfucker like being in the streets. Like being in the streets and still wanted their home. Mm-hmm. They wanted the best of both worlds. And like we were saying, that shit's selfish. Instead of from the jump letting me know, like, hey, this is really the type of shit that I'm on. Like, we could be cool. You know what I mean? I respect that.
Giving you the option, like being open and making sure you have a choice.
Absolutely. Instead of doing that, what you're doing is being possessive, trying to control every aspect. I mean, friends, family, like hella controlling on that tip, and basically almost drilling in your head like, you can't be doing this, you this to me, kind of like a motherfucker just not wanting to share you, not wanting you to entertain, laugh, to like none of that. Like basically it's almost like you don't want somebody to look at you and snatch you up. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody to look at you and snatch you up, basically. And so, and even trying to transition and make somebody feel comfortable, you know, I'm over here transitioning, trying to make shit more comfortable. And instead, what you're doing is bullshit like that, and try to act like that was the only time. And yeah, I can't respect that. I'd rather, from the gate, you just say, hey, yeah, not gonna be able to deal with that shit. You kind of like this, and I
Right.
can't. You cool though. I fucks with you. We could be cool. I'm cool with that. Like, but when you're wasting, like, bro, a year is a long time. You know what I'm saying? So, like, for you to waste my time, like, in that type of way, not know we're working, they're not really compatible, motherfuckers trying, you not know shit like that, but like, you're bullshitting. You're not serious. You know what I'm saying? And you're too motherfucking old for this. Like, we not 21. We, even then, you know what the fuck you're doing between right and wrong. You know what I'm saying? You know, you telling a bullshit lie, you know what I'm saying? So I felt like during that time period, because of the lying, I was never given the option to bow out. You know what I'm saying? And I would have loved that option to bow out versus sacrificing so much
Mhm.
shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So would have loved it. Didn't receive it until, but it is what it is.
Right.
You're great at cutting off contact. Mine is gradual. It's fucked up. I'm a Cancer, if that mean anything to y'all. That don't really mean too much of shit to me. But if it means something to y'all, like some emotional gangster shit, like, but and then I had that little toxic bullshit in me slightly, friend. I be trying. I just be trying to get a hold of it sometimes.
Oh,
But look,
you don't have to say that when you're cutting somebody off gradually that that's fucked up. That's just a different way of doing things. Like, people have different ways of doing things. That's how I cope with cold turkey. If you cope with gradual, like cutting off or whatever, different strokes for different folks. It's not right, wrong. It's just different ways of doing it. Now,
right.
the advice that I give is cut these niggas off. Like, fuck it. It's black and white. Ain't no in
I love that
between.
energy, because when I be around y'all, when I be around my best friend, I be like, what's up? Fuck this. We finna go out here. We finna do this thing. What's up? Like, I be like pumped up. We be jamming, bro.
Right.
We be bumping. But yeah. So you have like kind of examples of it's unnecessary. Like, so then we have to break it down to, in these situations, why are you even getting in the relationship? That has to be looked at.
Like, on our
So,
side, like why we chose to be in these relationships with people with these types of.
well, we're just saying in general, like, why people get in relationships? You have some people that genuinely like the person that they're with.
Mhm.
And you have people that, we know some folks that they just get married because they said they're getting older. Okay, that's pretty fucked up, because it's kind of like, oh, you just doing some shit, and it shows in your actions. It shows in their actions that
They
they was
quoted,
just
they
doing
quoted the
something.
Jagged Edge song of might as well might as well get married. We might as well do this. And I was like, oh
I was
wow.
like, damn, oh, we just doing shit. Okay.
That's why
I
they're in the situation they in now, but that ain't my business.
I can't, it wouldn't be me. And then you have some people that just, maybe they just want the companionship.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a huge thing. People, all that lonely, motherfuckers don't want to be lonely. That shit real. Like, motherfuckers don't want to be lonely. But you ain't gotta settle for no bullshit lying stuff, in order for you not to be. Like, you really settling at that point. But what other reasons people really get in relationships?
What you said all sounds right. I just don't understand why it's necessary in that way, right? Like, especially when you think about marriage and getting into like something like lawfully with another person. If you just want companionship, then you can just have relations. Like if you are, it's too many people who are open to too many different types of engagements with one another to spend a lot to somebody and waste both your time and theirs to be in a quote unquote relationship. If it's that you're lonely, if it's that you're horny, whatever that like that piece of it is, it's like you can talk to somebody and engage with a lot of different people in that way. Like there's again too many people who are open to too many different things for that. Now, when you think about marriage, like people definitely are hopping into marriages because they don't see any other type of relationship structures that lend themselves to longevity. So they're like, oh, if I want to have kids, I need to be married, as though like men don't leave in marriages and you still got kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or saying that finances are a reason, might as well join together so we can live together and go half and da da da. Like again, these aren't great.
Some people also, if finances, I like how you presented that, because we think finances joining together, but then you also have people that think I'm doing bad, I'm going to benefit off somebody else's finances. You'll see stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? To get married.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I hear that. That'd be it. I know we're talking about a gamut of people, but that shit is so far-fetched for me that somebody would accept somebody knowing that they're doing bad and would just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna like take care of you now. That shit is I'm like, oh, is that how some people operate? But that is an option. I guess some people are out here like this. But I mean, we can speculate a whole gamut of reasons about other people. If we're talking about us though, we can give examples about us, right? Like if you got motherfuckers who want to call in or write in, tell us what y'all experiences are, by all means, please do. We'll be happy to discuss your experiences and, how we feel about them. But speaking on us, I don't just hop into relationships or whatever, because I take them very seriously. And so in thinking about it, I think when I do get into relationships, for me, it's more, I was going to say something along the lines of it's more of stability and predictability, like of knowing that this person is going to be there, or knowing like our routine of how we engage with each other. And that's for one individual, that's for multiple partners, whatever the case may be. But I take the relationship piece of that very seriously, because for me, there's a difference between the relations and relationships. The consistency can still be there with the relations, right? Like always having somebody to talk to or go out with or fuck who, like whatever. Mm-hmm. In that relations way, the consistency is there and I love it. In the relationship, it's a little different because now I have expectations of that consistency. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, it's not just thank you for giving me the consistency. Now it's like, oh, I expect to fuck you 4 times a week now. I expect to see you like this or whatever. And if I don't, I need to understand why that's not happening. Now I feel like we owe each other something, you know what I mean? And so I'm very hesitant about relationships in that way, because I'm like, if you're not ready to some extent be accountable to me and vice versa, then let's just keep it at relations. I won't hit you up. I won't do like, we won't have none of that or whatever. But then you got niggas who fall in love with relations and they're like, oh, I just want to be in a relationship with you now. And I'm like, because I ain't had no expectations.
Right.
So like you're getting a different version. Exactly. I was like, you're getting a different version of me than you get if we're in a relationship, because if you're not moving a certain way, now there's, for me, there's consequences. So it's a very different type of movement. So I'm very leery about relationship or whatever. Portion. And so that's also the reason why I don't ask people to be in relationships with me, like man, woman, like non-binary, whoever I'm engaging with, they would have to ask me to be in a relationship, because then, like I told you about the other guy, because then I'm like, I'm not saying this right, but I got every right to turn the fuck up when it's time to turn the fuck up then, because I'm like, I didn't ask you to be in a relationship. You made this decision on your own. You came to me with this or whatever, and you still choosing to act up and you knew what the fuck we were getting into. Now we're here.
Right. Now we have arrived. Absolutely.
Our final destination, nigga.
That is so important. I'm glad you said that. That's so important to recognize there's going to be different expectations before you jump into that shit. And you have to make sure the person that you're dealing with, that you can actually meet those expectations now, or it's going to be
Yeah.
quote unquote.
And the expectations aren't just what I said, right? Like they're up for negotiation. It's two people,
Yeah.
right?
It's not
And
no,
so,
okay, well now you got to do this. No.
right.
Yeah.
So if it's like, oh, I want to fuck you 4 times a week, and you're like, oh, I got my kids, da da da. So maybe 2 times a week, da da da, and then every other week is 3. Then it's like, okay, bet that's the agreement. Let's roll with that. So it's up for negotiation, but
right.
I gotta have some type of expectation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So
no. So why do you get in relationships? I know this your podcast, but I'm gonna interject a little bit here.
Girl, let me tell you, if it's fine. No, I'm playing.
Exit stage left.
Can I not bring a little? Can I not sprinkle a little, please? Why do I get in relationships? That's a good question. Why do I do this? No, I'm playing.
She could have made me drive down. Yeah.
No, I normally do get in relationships if we have similar views on shit. We want similar things. The vibe is good. The energy matches. Energy has to match. Like, it can't be one-sided. Like, I'm crazy about you. I'm always reaching out to you. I'm always trying to spend time with you and stuff like that. Like, I need that same energy that I'm giving to you as far as initiating things, planning things, and stuff like that. And when I get that back, then of course and then I'm like a big time person. So just one of my love languages, like, that's big. So like that would really, do it, is like meeting some of those love languages that would, make me be like, you know what, I can't share this, or I can't, I rather, we just.
So are you also possessive and territorial? You just hit me with the, I can't share this. Say more.
I don't like you. I will get ignorant. I'm not gonna lie to you. I will. But it's not to the extent of the situation that I was in. But
I'm not clear, guys. I know I broke down exactly where I was coming from. I think my friend felt like she's just normal, so she didn't feel like the need to say. But she is a straight woman who only deals with straight men. She also
I did say that.
She also discriminates. She only deals with Black men. And it's also.
Well, that one time. What about that one time? See?
You were experimenting, which also isn't great, but okay. Monogamy, and she's also monogamous. So this is the perspective she's coming from. So when she says that, I'm joking and kidding with her, right? When she says that she is possessive or whatever, but that's the expectations that come with her monogamy, right? Like, is that you and I are only going to be engaging with one another.
Absolutely.
It's not a far-fetched idea that's what's put out there. So niggas are cheating or doing whatever. And it's like, right, against the agreement that we had. Like, we came into this knowing that it would just be us.
We came into this knowing that we are just dealing with each other. We're not flirting, giving out numbers. Basically, we wouldn't really do anything that, if they weren't in front of us, shouldn't be.
Right.
That's pretty much the expectation on that tip. So, so naturally, making sure that you're not doing any of those things, and then providing the time that I need, and affection, all that stuff, and then vibes and everything is right. That's what would make me get in a relationship.
Yeah.
Once all those things align. But yeah, so that's what made me get in a relationship. But we give these examples of people lying and stuff like that, but we all know, like, there's different types of lies. You have the little white lie. You have, and you know what? I am going to admit, I lie. Little,
Y'all, let me tell you. My friend came to my motherfucking house. And she basically said, I blessed this nigga with the truth to see if he could handle it. And he did, so he'll give more truth. And I was just, my mouth was agape. I was like, so you don't just be telling niggas the truth? And she was like, he can't handle it.
First of all, that was for that particular person, because every time I told that particular person the truth, this person would flip the fuck out. So I could not.
And he didn't deserve the truth. I was like, wow, niggas don't deserve it. Why are we talking to people who we can't be honest with? Fred said, I'm gonna feed him these lies.
I did not say that. Why are you? I didn't say it like that.
You didn't. That's not a direct quote.
Okay, you guys. Sometimes when the situation is serious and I know you can't handle the truth, I'm gonna omit a few pieces of the story so that you don't flip your fucking lid. Okay, but I do want to be very clear. The truth don't even be bad. You know what I'm saying? It don't even be bad. Like, if I was talking to a dude and I said, hey, and I was like, hey, I just went on a date, then sometimes, most of the time, motherfucker gonna be like, okay, yeah, so you went on a date, y'all fucked, like that's what's gonna skip in their mind. Like,
in whose mind? That's not logical. You tell somebody you went on a date, it's just a date. If niggas are assuming that you're fucking because you went on a date, that's problematic. That's the nigga that you shouldn't be talking to.
It's some out here. They out here, promise you.
I believe you, but I'm saying that nigga just weeded himself out.
But yeah, so I'm just saying, like, the omitting information to that particular person had to be done that way because of how he did not perceive the truth. That's all I'm saying. But
so you're okay with white lies and omitting the truth, is what you're saying?
I'm not. If it ain't like stupid fucked up, bro, like, nah, I don't care. Like, if it's some shit like if it's like extreme, I can't even explain it. Like you fucking somebody, like, that's a big fucking, that's not no bullshit.
Right.
That's some shit that you covered, premeditated, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I also feel like the way that, so when you like choose to omit like certain little details, like you're like, I basically told the truth, but you don't need to hear all of it or whatever. Mm-hmm. Are you okay with somebody else doing that to you?
Yeah, no. Nah, I'm not okay with it. But if it was some stupid shit, bro, like, okay, let me give you an example. So let's say me and you go to the club. Okay. Me and you go to the club and we see some dudes and stuff outside. And then somebody that and then you start chopping it up with the dudes, playing around, kiki, all that shit or whatever. Okay. Mm-hmm. And let's say the dude that you was talking about earlier, and let's say he asked me like, dang, or what is it? He said he asked you, and he'll say like, dang, how was it? You talked to any dudes? Like, you know, he gonna flip his lid over that, and you like, you don't really. It's not gonna hurt you. I ain't did nothing. I ain't switched numbers. It's a little bullshit. Like that, I don't care about.
Okay.
That's the type of stuff. Like if you was
I wouldn't have not said that, but I know you just giving this example, but
I know you would have.
I would not have. Niggas getting 100,000% all detail, all honesty from this one all the time, because that's my expectation. The omitting of the truth shit, that's what got niggas with a happy face carved into their motherfucking hood of their car. You see what I'm saying? So like, I don't do that omitting of the truth. You need to give me details, because I think about a lot of different shit. And it's just, if I don't have the details, then it's a problem. You can give me a lot of detail and then I can rock with a lot of stuff. And you know that about me. Like if I get all the details and it's like, okay, I appreciate you telling me, I might chew you out a little bit, but I'm not going to flip my lid. If I find out a piece of some shit later, it's over. It's over.
Yeah. I don't, Yeah, I'll probably be mad too. I'm really a hypocrite then. Yeah. Hey.
Appreciate you saying that on the camera for the people. You know, we have revelations about ourselves all the time. Ain't none of us perfect. We all out here trying to
No,
be
for
better.
real though, I wouldn't the lies that I tell, I wouldn't it wouldn't be no making nobody look stupid or
Right.
humiliating, embarrassing, shit like that. It
Right,
would
but it's what you deem
yeah.
as necessary or unnecessary, right?
Yeah.
That still doesn't
Yeah.
give them the choice. It still takes away the choice from them. And that's
Absolutely.
how I be feeling. And now, mind you, I'll give you this other example, right? Where I have some people that I engage with who are like, I know how honest and open you are. I don't want to hear none of that shit. Like, don't come back and tell me none of that shit. And that, I feel like some people would be like, okay, cool, I ain't got to tell you nothing.
Oh, you do have to say that.
Huh?
I'm saying you do have people that you would say that to. You do know people that you would say, like, I don't really want to hear.
Oh, no, I would never say that. I'm saying that I have people that I engage with who have told me that.
Okay.
Who have been like, I know you're going to tell me all the details and in all honesty or whatever. And I don't want to hear that. Like, it's going to cause me too much, anxiety or distress or sad or whatever. Like, I don't want to know that. And I try to respect that. But then for me, it becomes a very anxiety riddled situation because I'm like, damn, you just FaceTime me or you just hit me up and I couldn't answer because I'm on a date with so-and-so or whatever. And I want to tell you, hey baby, I'm so sorry. I didn't hit you up. I was out with X, Y, and Z or whatever. Yeah. But For me not to be able to have that type of open honesty really genuinely fucking kills me because then I'm like trying to tiptoe and step around like, well, do I say this or do I say that? But not only that, then I'm like, damn, do you now feel like I don't have the right to ask you about these things or to know these things about how you move because you don't ask me or expect that? Because just because that's your expectation of not wanting to hear those things from me,
I want to know.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that's mine. Like, I want to know if you start liking another bitch. I want to know if you start fucking another bitch or whatever. Like, and not just on some, I want to protect myself and I'm going to get, checked up and But it's genuinely like, okay, I genuinely just want to know how you're moving because the people that I'm with are not just people like really with. We're supposed to be closer than that. You know what I'm saying? We should be able to ha and kiki about these niggas and bitches together.
Yes.
I want to come home.
That'd be the relationship that
look. And that's what I used to do with my husband, right? Like I would come home and be like, bro, let me tell you about this nigga. Like I told him, bro, I told James about that nigga. And he was like, he don't sound right. I was like, no. He was like, you gotta be careful. Nigga, help me be careful. What do I need to do, white man? Like, tell me.
You see how close and the problem is you think somebody's gonna be able to communicate like that, be that open, and they're not. Like, I mean, the relationship I have with Kim's father, like we cool. we really be talking shit about these motherfuckers out here. Like, that's my nigga. But yeah, like we like friends, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause once you kind of realize like certain shit just is never going to happen, you know what I'm saying? And then you just establish that friendship and then you just establish boundaries, at that point, if you end up in a relationship. So there was that lying shit was, I'm not used to that. I'm not used to that. I was talking to him since I was 17. I'm not used to that. The honesty been raw from the beginning. It's been tough. So it's like to actually get out and dating and then like me giving you the example of lying to old boy, it's like, I ain't used to that. Like I'm actually used to saying whatever and hopefully you don't take it and you take my feelings as like a genuine person. Like what I'm saying, like, hey, I genuinely fuck with you. Like even in my relationship, I wasn't responding to niggas DMs. I wasn't going. Motherfuckers was like, we knew something.
When you in a relationship, you real loyal. Like you do it like
stupid. So like for you to that lying, like let me be free too then. Like, we could just be all, we could all be free. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, why are we even doing that? Like, why are we doing relationship shit? Like, we could just, we could be cool and be free. Like, but I can't do that. Like, because you're trying to control the situation.
Right.
And yeah. So we have all these different damn lies, and it is crazy because when you're omitting information, you're thinking like, well, that doesn't, because a nigga could be like, well, I just fucked that one bitch, so she don't really need to know. That could be, you know, or, you know, the baby's on the way. She don't need to know till the baby gets here, type of shit. Like, wow. That's neither here nor there. But so last thing I definitely want to cover is we always wonder, because we're not the main ones doing it, but like we wonder why are you lying? Like, you're taking away the option, of course, you know, taking up time, taking up space, taking up the options. And then it's like, is something lacking in the relationship that's making you lie like that? The communication isn't effective enough. Like, I feel like that communication, the way that you can be open, you know, the way that you're able to talk to everybody that, you know, you're dealing with, that communication is everything, because your mind is just going to wonder until, you know what I mean? If they're not communicating or you're questioning stuff, and, you know, your mind is just going to wonder, like, if you're not communicating. And then another big thing is reassurance, like reassuring somebody, like saying, hey, I feel like this. You made me feel like this. I feel like this is going on. Like, if whatever relationship or relations that you're having and you actually give a damn about them, I mean, it must have been multiple relations, because you're even thinking about them right now in this scenario. You're just thinking about like, dang, that one person I really fucked with them, but damn, I really did them like that. You know what I'm saying? So just I think motherfuckers just scared to lose it all, or trying to have it all, trying to be greedy, or what you think? Like, as far as
I think all of that, but I also think that people see it as normal, right? I think, like I said, with the example that I gave, like in his dad always being a cheater or whatever, he sees that as normal. He sees the guys that he hangs out with as like doing, like moving in that way as normal. We have homeboys that we've had these conversations with where they're just like, niggas gonna cheat, da 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 da. And I'm just like, that's, yeah. So it's like, I hear you, but why do you think that that's okay? Like, why do you want to be in that situation? Why do you want to be with somebody who's not confident and wondering about that thing? That's why I'm saying, like, when I got into that situation at the end, where I was just like, no, just go ahead and give me my stuff, because there is nothing else to talk about. And why I'm able to cut off cold turkey is because I can't handle that ruminating, that thinking constantly about what if, or let me check your phone. Or I haven't had to do that in so fucking long that the thought of ever being in that type of situation, girl, makes my heart beat out of my fucking chest. Like, I never had to check my husband's phone. Never, ever. Cause I was like, this is not what we do. Like the last time that I had to think about some shit like that was literally in fucking like high school, maybe like undergrad or whatever. But by the time I got to grad school and on, that's not how I moved. And so to be even able to be like, to have that thought, like, oh, I can't trust you. Like, you're not, either you don't trust me enough, or your past experiences have tainted you to move in a way where you feel like you have to lie to me. I cannot be in a situation like that, because I'm gonna let you see my phone and we know what's in that bitch. We can talk about whatever.
Heart coming out my chest.
Right. But I'm like, the moment that I'm like uncertain about what you can say to me, then I don't want to do this anymore. It's too much work. That's what it is. So there's a difference when some people are like, this relationships are supposed to be easy. We're just supposed to be able to flow. I agree with that to a certain extent. A real relationship you're gonna put in some work. Like nothing worthwhile is going to just be easy. It should be a lot easier than having to constantly think about what your partner is doing.
Right.
That's fucking psycho. I don't want to have to do that. So I'm not going to. I don't want to, and I don't have to. So I'm not
stressful.
Going to. Yeah.
That shouldn't even be a thing that you have to worry about.
Yeah. So when you have so many of the people that we know who are moving in that way because they think it's normal, and because it's been normalized in their family and the people they know in the small circles that they're around, it's like, I see why you deal with the bitches you deal with. I see, because they gonna let you get away with that shit. Mm-hmm. We've had our homeboys come back and tell us about how they move with they bitches, and I'm like, why are you doing that?
That group chat be terrible.
Yeah, I'm like, why are you moving like that? How? And we be trying to give the woman's perspective to help them out. Them niggas will not listen, and it's just like. But also, she's not stupid. Like, she's choosing to be in this situation too. And I don't understand why. Do you not think that you can do better? Like, do you think you need a relationship? So like, try to keep it on topic, right? It's like, do you feel like you have to be a relationship? Does that validate you in some type of way? Like, why don't be weak in the knees? So it's like, do you not think that there are a million other people out there who would treat you better than this individual?
Right.
Or maybe that you just don't need a relationship. How about you work on the relationship with yourself first or something? Like, there's a lot of different focuses for you to have.
Yeah.
But again, thinking about the some of the women that our homeboys have been with and how they've done them, and I just be like, I don't understand how you're moving like this. On top of that, like, those are our homeboys, right? We have family members. You and I both know how some of our male family members move, and we're looking at them like, how? Why? You have us, and you don't
looking like, aren't you tired of this? Ain't
right.
you tired of doing this?
And they look at, I'm like, you see us and you tell us that you don't want anyone to treat us the way that you treat other people, but you're not thinking of like trying to change that because it's too normal. It would be, I'm really open with my family about my relationships, my sexual orientation, and how I move or whatever. And they're just like, how? Like, and I'm just like, I don't know how y'all deal with the things that y'all deal with, or how you move with people like that. And they're just like, they're not able to handle X, Y, and Z. And I was like, that's unfair for you to say when you haven't given them a chance, when you haven't talked to them about X, Y, and Z, when you haven't moved like this with them, when you've set an expectation that you're not meeting. Of course, people are going to be pissed. And that's really gaslighty of you to try to make it seem like this is why I didn't tell you in the first place, because now you acting stupid about it. And it's like, no, nigga, I'm acting stupid because you didn't tell me the truth from the beginning. And because you set up a different expectation and different.
I would like to say in my defense, when that happened with me, I have told the truth before and it was wild. And then
no, girl, I ain't talking about you. I'm really thinking about.
I would like to say, y'all got to take up for myself because
I will go on a whole tangent.
I understand what you're saying. Like, yeah, like I feel like, especially if you haven't even tried.
Right.
You haven't even tried to tell the truth. You haven't even tried.
And honestly, if you have tried and that person didn't take it the way that you wanted them to, why are you still with them?
Yep.
Then you shouldn't. Obviously,
they don't respect that you came to them with the truth and wanted to get that off your chest and wanted to express how you feeling.
Whatever the fuck reason that they're thinking, it does for me. That doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck what your reason is. If you didn't respect it, and that's not what we're doing, then okay, why are you still in that situation? Why did you then make the conscious decision to stay with this person and to lie to them instead?
Right.
At that point, that's you being a selfish piece of shit. That's like, oh, well, I'm just going to take what I can get from this person and keep doing what I'm going to do and keep lying to them or whatever.
Yep.
And how is that sustainable? So then that begs the question, you already know that this fucking relationship isn't going to last. So what are you operating in a temporary mindset?
Absolutely.
It can't be forever. Can't be forever.
Right.
And if this is forever for you, that's really fucking sad.
Mm-hmm.
If your forever is knowing that you want to lie to somebody, that you can't be your full self with somebody or whatever, that's really fucking sad.
That's it. Be your
you just sit the fuck down and look at your fucking self. If you can't be your full self with somebody and you're still like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna just take what I can get or whatever, you are shortening the end of the stick for the person that you're fucking with, like that you're choosing to fuck with and risking this relationship for, like you're not giving your full self to anybody.
Yep. Everybody else is getting pieces.
Right.
Yep.
And most of all, you are giving yourself a piss poor experience. You're not going to be fulfilled at all. You doing too much sneaky shit.
Yep.
Like, do you even got a job, nigga? Like, how you doing all of this? How you focusing? How you focusing on your career? Can't be.
You can't focus on anything personal because you're right. That takes a lot.
Because you juggling bullshit. That's why I be ready to fight motherfuckers that be like, I can't even do one relationship. How I'm gonna do? How you poly and do multiple? And it's like, you niggas are tricky. Y'all are real tricky when you're saying that you can only do one relationship or whatever, because you ain't doing that shit right either.
Ain't. Absolutely not. That shit, wow, bro. I don't be understanding, but you told them motherfuckers. Shoot,
Told y'all niggas. I told
y'all.
y'all.
Playing with y'all. Y'all being selfish.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I hope you guys picked up a little bit.
Not you addressing the audience now. Hello, audience. Y'all.
Hey, you guys, we're back.
Y'all still with us?
We're back. Right. You know how we do. But yeah, so but for real, you guys, I hope you guys picked up something. Like, if you
don't just hope, communicate, engage, tell them niggas to tell you what they picked up. Hello, what did you pick up? Let's assume that you did, because if you didn't, if you stayed this long and you didn't pick nothing up, it's because you chose not to. You probably one of them niggas who out there cheating. Attention to nothing.
I fucking hate you. Can y'all please follow the Aggressive Beauty podcast page, Aggressive Beauty _. Yeah, tell us what you think. Tell us what you think about the situation. If you have a situation to where you were in, if you want to give a scenario, we'll be more than happy to give our opinion on it, our point of views. But definitely follow the page. And then my personal page is one Bonita Chica. So you can see that on it. It'll be on there. Y'all see her in Jazz. You can give yours as well.
I really don't be trying to have nobody follow me. You say this shit every time.
It's fine, because I'm not
gonna spell it out. At Solitary Flower 08.
I don't like your attitude.
I appreciate your honesty.
I hate you. Oh my God. But also, you guys, since you're looking at the video on YouTube, definitely subscribe to the channel, because we have more episodes coming out. We'll definitely have something Sunday, next Sunday as well. And we're just gonna pretty much stay on topic with our relations and relationships, you guys.
They just want relations. They don't want relationships.
I'm so
Welcome to the real world. It ain't the same.
It ain't. I cannot stand you, bro.
My lip be quivering every time you say it. I be like,
you be wanna. Yes. But yeah, you guys, yeah, definitely tune in. We got more stuff coming for you. And always keep in mind. Do you know what it is?
It's just not my podcast. Come on.
Beauty is pain, and so is the truth. But you niggas need to tell it.